This video will provide a basic introduction to using Noodletools to create and manage sources for a research project. Begin by accessing Noodletools through the library's homepage by clicking on the link under Research Help in the library menu. If you are off campus, you will need to log in with your WID number and the first 6 digits of your ClassWeb PIN before Noodletools will open. Once Noodletools is open, log in. If you have never logged in before, you will need to create a Noodletools account. Create an account by clicking on Register. Enter in all of the appropriate information and click Register. Once logged in, Noodletools will start on the Projects screen. This area will be empty until a project is created for this academic year. You can view previous year's projects by using the pull-down menu in the upper right. To begin a project, click on the New Project button. In the window that pops up to the right, give the project a name and select the citation style needed. The citation style is generally determined by the instructor, so review your assignment guidelines, course syllabus, or double-check with your instructor. Keep the citation level on Advanced and click Submit. Once the project is created, it will now be listed on your Projects page. From your Projects page, you can jump to the project's to-dos, sources, note cards, or attachments by clicking on the icons for the project. Share the project with an instructor or with other students to collaborate by clicking on the Share button. Copy, delete, rename, or change the style of your project by clicking on the 3 dots all the way to the right. To get instructions on all of these options, click on Help in the pull-down menu that appears when clicking on the 3 dots in the upper right corner of the screen. To start creating your project bibliography, click on the project to open the Project Sources page. Now that the project is open on the Sources page, you can also edit your research question and thesis. To add a source and create the full and in-text citation in the proper style, click on New Source. Select how the source was accessed. In general, select Database if the source was accessed through the library's resources. Select Website if the source was found through an open web search using a search engine like Google. And select Print if the source is a physical version of the item. Next, select the type of source. If unsure of what type of source it is, look at the source's own description for clues, or consult an instructor or librarian. Once the source is chosen, a form specific to the mode of access and the type of source will appear. Systematically move field by field to fill in as much information as possible and as many fields in the form as possible. Not all sources will require all fields. Some fields will remain blank. But if the information is there, it needs to be filled in. For each of the fields, Noodletools provides hints on what goes where or how it should be formatted when the cursor is in that field. If creating an annotated bibliography, fill in the annotation field with your annotation. Once all of the information for the source is entered, click Save. Once submitted, Noodletools returns to the Sources page, and the properly formatted citation for the newly added source will now be listed. Add an attachment to the citation by clicking on Add Attachment under Options for that item. Access the in-text citation for the source that can be copied and pasted as the source is referenced in a project by clicking on the In-Text Reference option under Options for that citation and entering the page number that the information used is from. Many of our databases also have an Export to Noodletools option. If you have found an online source in one of the LPC library subscription databases, look around for the Cite or Export button and then look for the option to send it to Noodletools. Click Continue. A screen with the Noodletools logo and the citation will pop up. Look towards the bottom of the screen. In most cases, since you have already logged in, Noodletools will list your username with a pull-down menu of your projects to select. If you do not see that message in the pull-down menu, click Login to log in again and then go back to the source to click on Export to Noodletools again. Do these steps as needed for the system to recognize that you are logged in. Once you see your username and have the correct project selected, click Import. Go back to your Noodletools project on another tab and refresh to verify that the source was added. As you add and export your citations and before printing and submitting, make sure to scan your citations to make sure what you see is properly formatted for the style you are using and helpful for the reader. Some common issues to look out for are jumbled author names, missing key information, and improper title capitalization. Once all of the sources consulted for the project have been entered manually or exported from the databases, click on Print in the upper right and select one of the options. Make any needed selections in the pop-up and submit. Noodletools will compile the citations into a properly formatted document that is ready to be attached to your project and submitted. If you have trouble with Noodletools or need assistance with your sources, just ask an LPC librarian.